Mohonk Preserve is over 7,500 protected acres of the Shawangunk Ridge in the Hudson River Valley. There is so much to experience here, so much to find. This is an invitation to you to explore all that Mohonk Preserve has to offer.
He's coming closer. There we go. It's amazing. We're within 90 miles of New York City, and yet we have this wonderful wildlife preserve with so much life in it.
Dave donates the photographs he takes here back to the preserve.
I can come and photograph for them and share my photography with them and help perpetuate the preservation of this marvelous area. I had a cardinal nest not far from where we are right now, and I caught it just soon after the eggs were laid. And it was low in the branches, and so I came back every day until they fledged and caught it from the egg hatching right to dead, pushing the last fledgling out of the nest. And it's especially events like that where you catch a whole sequence of the emergence of life into the park, which makes it special.
Okay, here's an area we should count. This is usually pretty rich. And
yeah, there's a leaf pear, there's a singleton. The preserve is an endless source of inspiration. I think about it all the time. Fully a quarter of the poems I've put out have had their inspiration right here on the Mohonk Preserve. Urged on by light green blossoms of spice bush, my love and I walk to a flower show our old friend April holds each year to push out winter's drabness for the purple glow hepaticas display. Spring beauty's veins of pink, trout lilies yellow, flashing bright. An inborn sense of primal wonder true earthly children never can outgrow. We've waited a year for that, haven't we?
mm-hmm.
I've been coming since I was a little child, and we've been hiking around the area since I was about 2 years old. It's an excellent place to birdwatch because it's so diverse. You have these fields, you have forest, you have wetlands and mountains. So it all attracts different types of birds.
One of these types is the peregrine falcon, which has returned to the Shawangunks after a more than 40-year absence. Mohonk Preserve and its dedicated volunteers have played a key role in this conservation success story.
Right now I've got 2 chicks on the ledge that look to be about 4 weeks old. We're very fortunate to have this incredible escarpment that supports raptors. But not only peregrines, there are lots of other birds that use cliffs, and as you protect the cliffs, you actually protect a great diversity of birds.
This tradition of observation was started decades ago by Mohonk naturalist Daniel Smiley.
He followed nature as it led him down his lifetime, and he established field trip routes that we're still following today. You go back to the same places, stay there long enough, and you observe over decades of time, and you see things that a visitor on one trip would miss.
We're looking in some cases, like this hobble bush behind me, this is the exact same plant that Dan recorded through his lifetime.
The research center team takes daily weather observations. Started in 1896, this is one of the longest and most consistent weather records in the country. And along with the center's decades of observational records, it provides invaluable data on ecological shifts and climate change.
We protect some really rare and unique ecological communities. And it's our responsibility to be able to steward those ecological communities, to give a place for nature to change over time.
I've done a lot of different things for the preserve. At first it was boundaries and trails, and then I realized walking through these woods that people lived here. Old stone foundations, old mill sites. So I got interested in the cultural history, and I think we should preserve that like we do the natural history.
Beginning in the late 1700s, the Traps hamlet was a subsistence farming community of a few hundred residents.
People that lived in the traps are living on the edge. The only reason they happen to be here is because they had run out of good farm lands down in the valley. This is the only subsistence community protected. There's the Rockefellers and so forth, but there's no subsistence community in New York State except this place.
It's a great community here that we have, and it's great climbing, and it's great scenery, and all those things combine to make it just a wonderful place to be.
I love Mohonk because there are endless trails to run on, and I can go right into the woods and run for hours. And as a professional triathlete, running is part of my job, and I have to do a lot of it. And when I run in Mohonk, I never get bored. There's always something to look at. And I've run up to 80 miles a week on these trails.
Good boy. Can't find a better place to ride. The old carriage roads were built over 100 years ago for the horses and buggies. So really it's kind of like it was then 100 years ago, and we're kind of stepping back in the days with the horses rather than the automobile.
It's amazingly beautiful, and that's what we want to have our children exposed to, and nature's playgrounds.
Hey, go.
Mine's in third place.
For me, it's that I can be connected to the real world once again. To discover more of that connection is why I come back.
I think nowadays we've kind of lost that connection, and it's just important to realize that, and we just have to open up our eyes to the world around us, and it's a great place to do it.